Hey everybody, Scruffed here. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. Welcome back to the channel and episode 3 on our Saxlingham series. Got a few things I want to talk about quickly. Also, a few things I want to point out that it was an oversight on my part, but yeah, just because I've been showcasing certain mods and using it in other series. And I know I had a lot of new people jump in and watch the first couple of episodes on Saxlingham, so I just wanted to, basically just point out the mod by Oz that I'm using is currently not out. It could actually be out by the time this video comes out, which I know is super confusing, but I'm actually going away in the week you're watching this, so I'm making these videos prior, which is why it's really confusing. In fact, to give you an example of that, today, as I'm recording this, it's my birthday. It's the 1st of August. I've had a crazy day, got home, and yeah, I'm now recording a video. But also, it's the same day this map dropped. So yeah, by the time this video comes out, is going to be, let me just look at my schedule. We're talking Tuesday. So, in fact, if that's the case, this is how much I'm trying to figure all this stuff out. The Giants have announced today that the Mercedes truck pack is the 3rd DLC. Now, I know for me right now it's Friday, and I actually got that information today. But for you guys watching this video on Tuesday, that information's come out. So, yeah, we're getting the Mercedes. Everyone kind of predicted it. Let's be honest, it was made obvious. They hinted it in the Scottish DLC. So, yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think it looks pretty good. I like the fact that they're adding in, the trucks as well. It's not just the MB track. I think it's a pretty decent addition. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about it. But that's a completely different topic, but it just gives you an idea of where I'm at because I'm recording it in advance for a week that I'm off on holiday. So, yeah, just trying to get my head around it. Now, talking about this mod, it's called the Hire Purchasing mod. It was a mod that basically Oz reached out to me and we spoke about it and to give him some ideas. I spoke to a farmer that I work with called Adam. If you watch my farm blogs, you'll know him. He got his tractor on hire purchase and I asked him a few questions, fed that information back to Oz, and he went and made a mod for it because I was saying it'd be really cool to get that kind of bit more realistic side to it when buying tractors and equipment. So from that, the mod was born, and I showcased it in my Bevington series, and I've been using it. Now, it got sent to Giants, but as you already probably know, the queue for Giants software on Mod Hub is, can be quite long, so like 10 days, maybe a bit longer. So this has been in testing. So this has been sent for testing a while back. Now, it did get put into testing pretty much Thursday, I think it was. So yesterday as I'm recording it, but for you guys, it's now Tuesday. So this mod could have dropped on Monday. It could drop today as you're watching it, or it could be dropping in the next few days after it. My guess is if it's in testing and it passes, it's probably already come out, so you'll see it on the Mod Hub. I might be completely wrong, but all I know is it's in testing currently as I record this video on Friday. But for you guys watching it on Tuesday, I'd be hopeful that it's dropped or dropping very soon, unless it's failed. Now, that's the only problem, but I just wanted to point out because I've had a lot of questions asking me what that mod is, and it literally is the Hire Purchasing mod by Oz. And what it does is when you go into your game menu, you'll have a new section here called Hire Purchasing, and when you purchase a tractor, a piece of equipment, you can basically take an option out to pay a deposit, then an interest fee, monthly repayments, and then at the end you have an option, depending on what kind of package you go for, to have final remaining fee or no final remaining fee. But at the end of the day, you pay it off and you own it, but you obviously pay the interest for it. Now, you do have an option in this tab, which is how to keep track of it. This will basically indicate what piece of equipment you've got on this hire purchasing agreement. You can see currently we've only got the baler, and it tells you basically how much it's costing me each month, the interest rate that I signed up to, the amount of months that I've got left to pay, my final fee, and the remaining cost in total, which is, taking into account the fact that I've got 120 payments to make. So if I made 60, that would be half, basically. And then if I wanted to settle it. So if I'm saying, I've just got a windfall, I've got loads of cash, let's pay this off so we can, actually fully outright own it to settle it early, you can just press this tab option. It'll say we've not got enough money to settle the deal, but it gives you an idea. So that's basically the mod. It's by Oz. He's a brilliant modder, and he is working on some cracking stuff, so keep an eye out for that. He's the guy that brought us the garage menu mod. So now in the store, we can see our owned items. So it's the same modder that brought us that brilliant mod, and he's working on other stuff. He's a friend to the channel, friend to my Discord server. If you do want to get any updates on mods that he's working on, highly recommend joining the Discord server. He puts some information on there occasionally, so you'll get probably like, you know, a heads up relatively early on what he's working on by joining my Discord server. Links in the video description, and yeah, you can jump into that and keep an eye out. Not just a brilliant modder, but also a brilliant guy. So thank you to Oz again, as always, for the work that he does for the community. And I really do hope by the time this video comes out on Tuesday, when you're watching it, and I know it's super confusing. It's confusing for me, and I don't even know where what I'm doing anymore, from coming and going. But yeah, I'm hoping it's out for you. That would be the perfect scenario. So now that that's sorted out, another thing with the map dropping, and this is the first episode. So episode 3 is the first one I've recorded when the map's actually out to the public. So I've updated to the latest version. Now, unfortunately, Brisco said to me, don't get too excited about your prices that you've got in the field currently, because as soon as a load of players move in, the land tax goes up. And he's bang on, because now that I've updated the map, I was looking at this farm down here thinking, oh my God, this is pretty decent. It's only like £150,000 for this farm, which I thought, bargain. It's not anymore. It's 1.1 million, nearly 1.2 million. So yeah, everything's just got a lot harder for me, which is going to be an interesting task. It's not just the farms, all the fields. Like, that's nearly 600,000. This one that I thought, oh, we could go for that, 500,000. So we are not going to get a farm or any new fields, probably, like, even with this first harvest when we sell it. There's no way. I mean, even if I wanted like field 8, which is closest to where I'm at, it's not going to happen. It's now become a real good challenge, let's say, and I'm always up for a good challenge, so I'm not going to complain too much. And it's what's expected, it's what happens. Obviously, it's gone out to the public. A load of players have just moved into the area, and land tax has gone through the roof. And yeah, that's that. But I wanted to point it out because I was getting really hyped, and then Brisco messaged me saying, yeah, by the way, your land, the value that you're paying for the land, that's not the way it's supposed to be. That's going to get sorted out very soon, just before it drops. And I was like, oh, I best start buying everything now. And then I realised I didn't even have any money to do that. So it is what it is. So that's pretty much everything. I'm up to date. I know you guys are ahead of me. It's Tuesday, like I said. It'll make sense. I'm making videos in advance for when I go to Yorkshire with Beanie. We're going to a log cabin in Yorkshire, just for like 5 nights, going on a few bike rides, walks and stuff like that, just chill out, relaxing kind of mini adventure for us. But anyway, in the last episode we did all the harvesting. We finished off the 2 big wheat fields that I call them, even though they're not massive fields in comparison to all the other fields on the map, but they're the biggest ones you own at the start. So we got everything harvested. I've got that in the grain silo. That's going to get sold at the right time. We're not going to do what I did with the barley. We're going to hold on to it, hold it back until we get the right amount of money. But I decided to start doing the baling. So in field 7 and 19, the 2 smaller fields that are closest to us, I got the bales done. Now in this episode, what I want to do is just get that out the way. I've got the 2 fields that we did in the last episode, we're going to get them baled. But I also want to try and use maybe a bit of auto drive or a bit of course plate or something. We want to combine this to go and sell them, because I don't need to hold on to them. There's no reason for me to hold on to the straw. Yes, I could probably sell them at the right time again, but I'm really crying out for money at the moment. And even though I've got no debts or anything, I've given myself a bit of a challenge at the start because of the fact I haven't got the cash. Now, I want to talk about the prices of straw, hay, silage. In my Bevington Farm series and on that map edit that I did, I customised the price of straw, silage and hay. I do think in-game it's just not right the way it's set up. That's nothing in reflection to the map. That's just the way Giants have done it. So this is just like a reflection to Giants and the way they've done that. I prefer it where it's a little bit more realistic. I think straw needs to be a little bit higher. Not much. If I look at it now, it max is 90. So like 110, which I'd say is probably about right. And hay, I'm not fussed about grass because I'm never going to go off and make grass bales to sell. But yeah, hay, for example, 110. I'd probably make that about 130, because usually a farmer in the UK can make hay pretty much just like once a year, depending on the weather. But let's say once a year on average, because he needs them perfect conditions to make hay. So it's harder to make than it is silage. Silage is actually the easiest to make because all you have to do is cut your grass and wrap it, or put it in a bunker and cover it. So there's no, limitation there really on weather. Yes, you don't want to do it when it's like raining. You obviously need it to be dry to cut, but not like hay where you need it to be the right amount of sunny days coming up to then dry the hay out. You've got to ted it, turn it, dry it. It's a little bit different in the UK. I know in other countries that's not the case. You'll probably cut it, which we've actually had this year because it's been so warm and we haven't had any rain. There's been a farmer I know called Adam. He makes a lot of hay and sells it to other farmers. That's one of his sources of income for his farm. He's been cutting it, tedding it once, and it's done. It's just because the ground's so dry, the crop's drying up anyway, and his grass is just already kind of gone to head too soon, so he's got less of it. There's a lot of conditions there going on, but the moral of the story is it's been a lot easier to make. It just teds it once, but normally that's not the case. Sometimes he's tedding his grass 4 times to get it dry enough to make a good standard of hay. So, and that's just because it's not dry enough or hot enough. There's not enough hot, nice weather with a good breeze to dry it out. So, yeah, they're turning it constantly to kind of, dry it out. So I think personally, speaking to people that I know that actually are farmers, that hay is more valued than silage. If you're going to sell a silage bale, it would be cheaper than selling a hay bale. So I want the game to reflect that for me as the player. That's just a personal choice, that is. So I'm going to change the hay price to probably about 120, 130. I'm going to change the straw price to about 110. And I know it's 90, so it's not too much of a difference. I think it's 90. I'm pretty certain it is. It's at the top. I don't know why they're separate, but they are. Yeah, it's 90 at the max. Right now we've got the worst time, as you can imagine. But yeah, 90 there. I want that to be about 110. And probably the minimum to not be that low because they're always a good price. They're always, good money. Straw at the moment's really quite expensive because a lot of farmers want it. You can only make it when you've done your harvest. As soon as it's baled up, that's it. You're not going to get any more until you harvest again. So a lot of farmers, like animal farmers, they buy it off arable farmers because they need it for their animals. They're not producing it themselves normally. They can do, don't get me wrong, if they're making certain crops or whatever, they will do, but it's more likely that a farmer's probably going to buy it off an arable farmer. So I want that to reflect. And then silage, talking about that's just way too much money. So for me, if the rest are 130, 110, I want to bring this down to about 80, not 218, because it's just way too much money. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I should have probably done that before to actually get a bit more money, but I didn't want it to look like I'm doing it just to kind of gain more money. I'm honestly doing it because I want it to be more realistic. So I decided to prove that point, let's not focus about the fact we're going to lose a bit of money by not making the changes straight away. I'll make the changes after we've sold the straw. So for next time around, we know the prices and it is what it is. And then I'd say going into the months coming up, because we're going to be focusing solely on getting these fields right, they need a lot of work. We've got to plough, we've got to lime, we've got to spread, fertilise, then we've got to seed, spread, spray, whatever we're doing. So yeah, we're going to do oats. I spoke about that in the last episode. Good money. But let's focus on getting the bales done in this episode. I want to use a worker to help me out, to assist me. Now, I've got the Auto Drive course. Just want to point that out. Auto Drive guys already dropped the Auto Drive network, and it's insane. It's superb, in fact. So massive shout out to the Auto Drive guy. I'll put a link in the video description to the video where you can follow through and download it from. It's a full network with every sell point, every location, every farm, field, everything you want already automated. And it makes me think, like in the last episode when I was setting up 3 and 2, he actually sent it me a day earlier than what it got released, but just after I recorded that. So it was good because I can showcase to you guys how you go about doing it. But then when the Auto Drive guy makes one, it really does save you a lot of time and effort. So big shout out to him. But yeah, that's all done now. So I've got the full network. So we can go to a sell point with these bales using a worker and a driver to go and do it. And then we could do the baling. But I would probably like to mix it up because I love driving this map. So I'm going to try and use Course Place to do the baling. Now, I've got to try and get that course set up to a T because it's got to follow what's already been placed down on the ground. So we'll have to do a bit of, messing them out there to get that to work. I'm sure we can do it with Course Play because it doesn't work with, basically it doesn't work with the GPS, in-game GPS. You can do guidance steering, but you can't do, I got an AI worker. I think there's a few mods that I could have got that would allow me to basically get a baler that's compatible. And I think you also need a front weight and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I haven't got that. But I could have set it up, and then I'd have to rebuy the baler. But because I've got it on, higher purchasing, I don't want to go through all that faff again of starting that over. But that's the plan. We're going to get straw sold and baled up. So we got a few to collect already and a few to bale. Now, I think I'll set courseplay going first in a second, and then we can focus on doing some of the karting. I think that's probably the best way, because then I get to explore the map a little bit and drive around. I do want to point out, though, if you've seen these dots, I know I'm probably going to get a question like, how can you see your bales on the map? It's the easy development mod, and I always like having this on because it just shows you the locations where the bales are, how many there are. One might be in a bush, for example, and you're missing it. So it's really nice to kind of just get a representation of how many you've got. So if you open up, first you need to download these development mod. It's a PC-only mod because it's rammed with scripts. It's, You go to the general settings, and you can have this option here, which is show bale locations to on. But also I put the show pallet locations to on as well. So what that does is on the map and the mini-map, it will show you in orange your bales, and in light blue, I don't think we've got any currently on the map, but in light blue, or blue, basically a blue colour, that's where the pellets are, so you'll see them as that colour. Right, so I think we sorted that out. Let's go and try and get courseplay going with this. I'm then going to jump back down here, and I think we should have enough fuel. Yeah, we'll be fine. I'm going to clean off the harvester because I'm actually still in the same in-game day. Because I don't want to jump to September. Because when I started, even though I've changed it now to like I think I've got it 3-day months, I don't want it to jump to September until I've at least done the baling. So we're actually doing 3 episodes in one in-game day. So we're going to probably go well into the evening with this, aren't we? If it's 5 o'clock already. So yeah, it's probably the first time I've ever done 3 episodes in one in-game day. But it needed to be done. There was a lot of work to do there in single player for one person. And I think, we're at a good point after that. We've done all the baling, we've done all the harvesting. We've got pretty much some good equipment. We can then focus maybe doing a bit of grass work, or definitely doing the prep work for the fields with the ploughing and with the cultivating and things like that, seeding in. I mean, we want to get the winter oats planted in as well, so there's going to be loads to do. But I'm, like I said, away next week, but I'm going to have a video hopefully coming out pretty much every day apart from the Sundays. If I get what I have planned done, should be good. But I've got, I think I've got like 4 videos to make to get to that target, so I'm trying my very best to make sure I do it. I really want to play this right before I go away and keep it coming out on the channel, because I know a lot of people are going to be playing it, and I'd love to see people interacting with my series as they're playing it, giving me ideas, maybe feeding off some of the ideas that I've got going. It's nice to see the community come alive again. Like, it feels like everyone's just perked up an extra notch. Right, so let's see if we can get this going. I did 2 headland passes. I know the header was 10.8 meters. So we basically, you can see that it's already set up on the GPS, which is perfect. But as soon as you go to AI worker, no detection. Now, like I said, I could have bought the baler that's the class equivalent. It wouldn't have the evolution on the side, but it's the class equivalent, and that would have done it. But we haven't got that, unfortunately, so we're going to have to use courseplay. So if I go to this, and we need to make sure it's going properly vertical down the center of that field. Field settings, let's bring it to 10.8. I mean, you used to be able to click that and type it in, but it doesn't seem like I can do that yet. Hopefully that gets added in, because that was a really nice feature. 2 headlands, and then we'll start work on the centre. And I know it's going to be on automatic direction. Let's just see what that does. I mean, it looks good. That does look good. If we just quickly, I know it's going to keep the guidance steering on, which might make it look a little bit strange, but do you know what? I think that's spot on. I think we might be on point. I mean, that headland there looks a little bit off, doesn't it? Just a touch. And if there's any bits left, we will... Yeah, we'll leave it off. But I think... Yeah, I don't think that's too bad at all. Let's have a look if we can go to the first waypoint, which is just over here because we're doing up and downs first. And then, yeah, we can just keep an eye on how it's performing. I have got a wider pickup on this, which is very useful for things like this because hopefully it cuts out any issues we're going to have. Now, because I've got no money, I've got my friend helping me out. Honest, I've got my friend helping me out. So cosplay wages are at 0, and there's a good reason for that. I'm skint. Got no money. So, yeah, he's helping me out for the meantime. Right, let's have a look at where it's sitting. It's probably just a little bit to the left, but it's picking up. So I'm happy with this. It's doing it. So if we just jump out, it will do the baling with courseplay, and then we can focus on... Well, first off, we want to clean this off, and then we can jump into the little... My God, it's got an engine. It's got a little engine. I picked this up on model, but I thought it was a nice little jet wash, but I like the sound effect. But no, we're going to be using the small John Deere with that big bale trailer, so it might not work out. We'll have to find out. But I'm going to get this cleaned off first, and then, well, I'm going to let you all try and watch me reverse a dolly, because I know many people in the comment section mentioned about reversing that dolly, that header trailer, and yeah, I'm going to give it a go and let everyone have a good laugh about it. Right, at least that's cleaned off. I probably should fuel it up, but I'm going to get cracking with picking up these bales. But we are going to try and reverse it now. Someone told me, do it the opposite way round. And I thought, well, that sounds like a really good plan. They're not easy to reverse, let's be honest. They're just not. They're painful at best. I mean, there's words that I would use that I can't use on a YouTube channel for the way that dollies make me feel. They are not... yeah, they're painful, to say the very least. But we're going to try and do it a little bit differently with the advice you guys have given me. So, for starters, let's drop the rear weight. And we also want to drop off this. Now, this is a very small tractor for what I want to do. It really is. So, yeah. It's going to be tricky. But we'll give it a go. Let's get it hitched up and, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look too difficult for me. If this was just a normal trailer, this would be, well, straightforward. But I think slow and steady wins the race. Just need to level that off now. Whoa. It's just... I know everyone's going to be laughing at this, thinking, why has he even attempted this on a YouTube channel? My God, he's just asking for it. You know what? I'm glad I switched to the tractor because I'm for some reason this is actually reversing. Now, I don't know what's happened. I don't know how this has happened, but it is happening. And I actually reversed that dolly into there. So I'm taking that as a massive win. And we're just going to say, don't know what everyone's on about. It's well easy. I never said anything. That was well easy. That's the best I've ever done it. And I'm so grateful that it happened on the video. Wow. Very lucky. Anyway, let's collect some. I'm hoping, because I am auto-loading these with this trailer. Yeah, I'm hoping that this small tractor can do it then, because there's not too much weight on the actual tractor, but this is the best way for me to do it currently. I mean, also bale physics in FS25 is it's a bit of a weakness to the game, unfortunately. If you start manually stacking and unloading, even though I always used to prefer doing it that way. Yeah, it's just not stable. Everything, I mean, you've probably seen it for yourself, but bales just fly about. They'll move on their own. If you make a nice, neat pile of stacking, put a load of effort in, you'll come back a few hours later, and as soon as you're near it, they're all over the shop, and it does need sorting out. I'm hoping that gets fixed at some point, so I can go back to manual stacking. But in the moment, I'm just fully auto-load and using spawn points like the ones that are on the map anyway. I'm hoping to get a full trail load here. I think I'm going to do it easy because I've only got one more bale left. So that is straightforward enough. And then we can have a look to see where the sell point is and go and sell it. It's not going to be loads of money. Worst time to sell, again, but also has to be done. I think this was always going to be a bonus kind of harvest because of the fact that it's not even been fertilised, and I give myself a challenge really starting off with, a small amount of cash, but some good equipment. Right, so let's put it into transport mode. And, I mean, I could drop them and then put this on. But I feel like, do you know what? It's actually not doing a bad job. I just need to pick the sides up. Yeah, so we'll do it like that and just go on a bit of a drive. I think that's probably the best thing to do. But let's have a look where the best place to sell straw is currently. Right, so I've just had a look. It's £64 per 1,000 litres at the farmers market, which is where we went to sell the actual barley. But then it's £60 up at the animal dealership, which is animal dealer grain, animal dealer bale. So that one would be 60. So luckily, we can just go straight down the road and get sold at the farmer's market. And we get to see how he's getting on field 3. It looks like he's doing all right. We can see the bales dropping out. I think it's really good how you can see the bales like with him, and he's just dropped one. It's a really nice feature. Do recommend if you use an easy development mod to get that included. Let's sort this out. That's probably about right. Very happy with that. Turn the lights on because we are getting a little bit darker, but not too bad. And we've got our beacons on. We'll go and get this load sold, and then we'll pick up the bales from there that are being dropped out in the first field. So the aim is just to basically get all the fields done for the baling, and then we'll sell the straw. But I like the idea of doing the carting. It's a little bit different. I know most of the time you probably want to do the baling, but yeah, let's make it a bit different. What the hell is going on there? Just trying to think why my left mirror is out. I've obviously adjusted that left mirror, but we'll have to try and figure that out. There'll be a control because there's loads of controls on this. We are struggling to get up this hill a little bit now, but we're doing it. There we go, picking up speed again. So that's the door. Don't want to open the door. Don't want to open the door on that one either. There you go. Just have to unfold it. That's what it is. Me faffing about. So unfolds a sunroof. I never knew that. Well, that's pretty cool. Anyway, straight road all the way down. I will check out the worker on the way. I'll have a quick look through the window as we're driving past. Now, in the real world, if I was in this tractor and that was my mate actually in that tractor, I'd be like, way! I'd be beeping, flashing every light and just saying, great. He's doing a good job anyway. He seems like we've not missed too many bits. He's actually picking up. We're not missing any of the swaths, are we? So I'm quite happy with that. And even though I can't see, I'd love to adjust that mirror. I don't know if I can actually tilt them. That's the steering wheel. In fact, that could be. That's the no, that's the armrest, and that's that's the passenger seat, and then it also was moving the screen. So I don't think I can actually change. Yeah, I can't change the mirrors just to have them a little bit further out. I mean, and that one's not too bad now. I can just about see to the left-hand side of the trailer, but I can't see anything on the right-hand side of that trailer. But that would have been ideal. Very happy with this little John Deere, though. This 140 horsepower is a little beast. I thought it would probably struggle a little bit with these bales, but it's really not done that. And it just kind of reminds me with that Massey Ferguson I use on the farm in real life, that little 57 Massey. You know, it's only got 125 horsepower, but it would haul a trailer with bales on. Not probably 3 stacked high, it'd struggle a little bit then, but 2 stacked high. And when I'm using it with the Teagle, the Teagle 9, Titan 9, you know, that does a cracking job, because when it's fully loaded with muck and I'm out in the fields going uphill, it still spreads, and that's with the PTO activated. So, yeah, very happy with it. Right, so if we take the straps off, get them sold, happy days. So 11,700 is yeah, not a bad amount of money. Quite happy with that. Well, let's get back out to our mate out in the field. We'll collect some of them bales from him, and we'll go from there. But I'm quite happy with that. We would have got more money, and if I change the price, we'll have picked up a little bit more as well, but it's not too bad. I mean, if I wanted to make it properly realistic, you know, you wouldn't get anywhere near that amount of money per bale, for example. But I just wanted it to reflect the same, like, giant software pricing, but in the right kind of order. So, like, hay and straw, you know, you get more money than you do for silage. But obviously, I'm not going to make it as cheap as it is in the real world, because we're still playing a game at the end of the day. And I'm not on hard difficulty, I'm on normal, so, yeah. I've actually got steak for tea tonight on Friday. So, remember, it's Friday, not the day you're watching it, so, you know, I would have ate it. I would have ate it by now, by the time you're watching this. But, yeah, we got... Is he stopped? It's a bit of a strange one. I wonder why he stopped. Let's have a look why. Is it because he's trying to get... Yeah, I've been having issues where it can't connect to its headland from the up and down passes. So, yeah, very strange. I think the only way I can do it... this is happening to me on my other series, so it's nice to know that it is not the map related on that. It's courseplay related, but I'm always struggling to get from the up and down to the headlands. I really don't know what the issue is. I haven't got a clue, but it happens. But if we go past this point where it does switch from an up and down to the headland and press nearest waypoint go, it will carry on perfectly fine. We should probably move out the way, though. Definitely. But anyway, I was saying, yeah, I'm having steak tonight. It's my birthday, basically. I'm another year older today. And Beanie has kindly decided to offer to make me a steak for tea. So I'm having steak tonight. And I think you can't complain, can you, at that? Right. So now we should be in operation mode. But it's Tuesday for you guys, so I've definitely had that already. And you never know, I might be having another steak. I'm off on a bit of a mini adventure with Beanie anyway to Yorkshire. So I'm looking forward to it. Just switch off, put my feet up a little bit. Nice countryside environment. It's actually in a forest area. But yeah, I am a big fan of Yorkshire tea as well. And I know a lot of people that are watching this know how much of a Yorkshire tea fan I am. So if I can stop off at the Yorkshire Tea Factory and just pick up a year's supply, I'll be very happy. I actually contacted Yorkshire Tea once. I think it's like Harrogate's. It's tea for Harrogate's, basically. The company's called like Harrogate's, and I contacted them. Said, you know, I'm a content creator. I make farming simulator videos. I love your tea. Can I become like a sponsor? I reached out to them, and I never do that. Never do that with anybody. And you know what? The response I got was really nice. It was more, it was like a pat on the head saying, "Oh, you're cute." You can, while we loved your enthusiasm, we've currently got all our kind of ads and marketing side done for the year. But come back to us in 12 months' time, and if you hit us, I think they were saying if you come to us in the winter, we'll plan for like the summer. And I was thinking, no, I don't want being an advert. I don't want to, I don't want to do anything like that. I just thought I could promote your tea on my channel because I do anyway. Like, it's not like anything's different there. That's pretty much what I do anyway. So yeah, and do you know what they did though? They sent me a free box of tea bags after that. So if anyone wants a free box of tea bags, just email them. Just email Yorkshire Tea and tell them that you are a massive fan and that you would love to showcase their stuff on a video or something, and you'll get a free box of tea bags. Or better yet, email Harrogate's and tell them Scruff would be perfect to be a Yorkshire Tea affiliate. I don't even think they have an affiliation program, but if they do, that would be something I'm signing up to straight away. I don't know how this conversation even happened. It's completely taken a crazy turn. But yeah, I'm heading to Yorkshire and I'm looking forward to it. First time I'm ever going to Yorkshire as well, so should be good. Now, he has missed a few bits on the end, so we will tidy that up. But I think when I jump over and just trying to figure out what he's actually doing right now. I mean, it might be easy for us to finish this off and just set him going on them up and downs, because he's obviously not just turning very well on the corners, is he? So yeah, let's stop it here and we'll take over and tidy up a bit of this mess as well, because I can always use the GPS. I think this is probably a perfect time for me to stick in a time lapse as well. So get it finished off, set it going. I'll pick up the remaining amounts that drop from this field and we'll go and sell them, and then I'll cut back in when that happens.
Let's get happy before we get old. We don't need plans or a fancy agenda. Well, let's just see where it goes. We got no care for the way people stare at the dust and the dirt on our clothes. Hey, my friend, we'll never say remember when, if we keep on making memories where we stand, where we stand. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance for the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. And go put on that old wedding dress now. Probably still fits like a glove. And tell the band to play one more slow song, 'cause you still have all my love. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance for the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance for the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. Let's get happy before we get old. No more whiskey, I'll have a Coke. Catching bass on an old fishing boat. One more story from Grandpa Joe. Let's get happy before we get old.
Welcome back, everybody. With the sun going down, there we are, all done. Jobs are good, and as I would say. So we're going to go take these now, but I just honestly had to be the thumbnail. Such a perfect setting, and it's one thing that I feel like it's got to be unique to this map, because the way that sun looks, especially when it's either sunrise or sunsetting, it's just stunning. I've seen so many screenshots as well of people that think the exact same. So yeah, I think it had to be the perfect thumbnail. But we're going to go take this the last amount. I had to do that myself, the bale, and I couldn't use course plate. I tried to make an offset originally, but it was, yeah, it wasn't working. It's just kept detecting a different course than what the in-game GPS, the in-game AI worker used. So anyway, have we stopped this? I think I have. There we go. So luckily, we're only just down to the right-hand side, and we're already at pretty much 31,000. So this is going to tie us over, and with pretty much a full trailer, we got 3 more spots per bale. So not bad at all. Right, no traffic. Let's go. Let's do this. So yeah, if we sell this, we're going to be over the 40,000 mark, and I think that's perfect going into, well, pretty much like them winter months when we're planting in, getting everything set. So anything we need for like fertilizer, lime costs, we're pretty much covered now. But yeah, I'm hoping the oats that we make going into that second harvest will take us to the next level, because with the land prices increasing, well, it's going to be a lot much harder now to buy anything and progress on. But I did think at the start that, man, they're cheap in comparison to everywhere else, but I didn't want to say anything just in case they did go back up, so I was trying to make the most of it. Well, here we go. So we'll stop here. Let's see how much we get. Yeah, 43,000. So I'm very happy with that. Let's just turn the beacons off and the lights, because I don't want to make the battery go flat. But yeah, 43,000. I'm very happy with that. We started off on around 5,000. So just from selling straw, I'm going to increase the straw price as well, because yeah, even though, like, when you think about how much straw we just generated and the price of it, because we're at the lowest, 59. Well, even though I sold it for 64, which is not too bad, but we can go up to 90. If I take that to like 110, 120, no, probably like 100 and then 130 for hay, I think it's probably a fairer price, but bring the silage down to about 90. You know, it's still good money for what it is, but they are good sized fields, even if they are, you know, relatively small in comparison to what we could potentially get to. So I think the future is bright with this, and we definitely need it now with these increases in prices. We'll get there, though. We'll get there. With it being a focus on arable, we'll definitely get there. Right, let's go back to you. I'm going to drive this back, but I am going to leave the video there. I've got plenty more to crack on with. I think the next episode will focus on ploughing. That's going to be a task and a half. There's no way I'm going to get these 4 fields ploughed in one episode. So I might make a start. Depends. Like, I could do like some of the small ones and then tackle these. And this wouldn't be a bad field to actually plough. It's, you know, the perfect shape field to do ploughing in. It's very long, so perfect for like long up and down stretches. But as we all know, ploughing can be a task and a half. Even though with FS25, it's a much better thing to do, because I think visually it just looks so much better. But if you get it right and you get them, you know, the furrows kind of knocking over and you don't leave any unwanted, I don't know, it's like a stretch where the tyre goes down, it kind of throws it over, and if you get that perfect, it can look really good at the end. So it's almost becoming like a fine art to get the ploughing right now on FS25. But we'll give it a good go in the next episode. We'll definitely do a bit of ploughing. Probably then going to do, I don't know, lime, get lime down on the ground. Or we could lime first, then plough, because we could plough in, yeah, we could plough the lime into the soil. But no, I'll do some ploughing in the next episode, maybe with a bit of lime as an AI worker job. But then after that, I can do a bit of cultivating potentially, because I haven't got a direct seeder. I don't think that's a direct seeder. If it is, we can direct seed straight from ploughing. But if not, because we've not mulched, we're going to need to cultivate before we can actually direct seed. Oh, well, sorry, before we can seed in. If we had a direct seeder, yeah, I don't think I need. In fact, I'm getting confused now. I think I definitely need to mulch, even if I still want to direct seed. But if I cultivate, then obviously it's not an issue anyway. So we're either going to have to plough, cultivate, because we can't do any mulching because we haven't got a mulcher. But yeah, we'll get it sorted out. I think the plan has to be, though, get it ploughed. That'll last for 3 years, 3 harvests, so plenty of time. But yeah, more to wash off. I'll get that done. But next episode, we'll definitely start working on getting these fields prepared for the next harvest. But on that note, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up for me. It really does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator. See you, everybody.